Let's make a leather top. Did you see the new Balenciaga collection? I don't want to knock off any of the pieces, but it did remind me how much I love black leather. Like, I literally always have a roll of black leather hanging out in my studio, waiting for inspiration to strike, and it struck. So I'm going to make myself a little black leather tank with my new block that I just drafted. So here's my finished block. Yes, I did make some minor corrections, and I transferred them onto oak tag because as I draft patterns off my block, it's so much easier to just have this, and when you lay this out on a piece of paper, to just go around and trace along this edge. I want to make this an A-line. Again, like the boxy, beautiful, like black leather tops at Balenciaga are my inspiration, but it's not like I'm making a particular top, so don't go looking for this thing that I'm making. I'm not trying to emulate. I'm trying to make something that I want in my wardrobe. Big, boxy shape, but with a narrow shoulder, but I want to get this shoulder slope angle correct for it to sit on my chest the way I want it. I trace the block out in ballpoint pen so that when I'm erasing and doing all these adjustments, I don't lose the base of my block. And I don't need to draw in the sew lines for every single thing, but I do want high point shoulder because that's how I'm going to measure the length that I want. So, I'm going to measure from high point shoulder down to where I want the top to hit. And for me, that's going to be like in between high and low hip. So about 6 inches below my belly button. Maybe 5 inches. I'm short. I'm only 5'5". I'm not going to angle my center front. If you've ever drafted an A-line skirt, the center front does not get angled, okay? Just the side seam. Because we're not trying to make like a big flouncy, big like ruffle type top, just kind of wide. And I am going to have a center front seam. And then I want to drop the armhole, because those of you who know me know I do not show my arms in public. That's just a personal thing. But I want it to be like a leather tank that I wear over. I have some long sleeve black t-shirts that are like super like tissue thin and very tight to my body. Like if you saw my fitting videos, that's what I was wearing like under my muslins. Like I want to wear it like that, or under like a thinner t-shirt, something like that. So I do want to drop the armhole just for like the overall look. And then let's design this shoulder. That's my cut edge, that's my sew line. And I want it to come in a little bit. Let's do an inch. And then I want a 2-inch strap. And then measuring on my own body, we're gonna measure how far down, because my clavicle, my shoulder bones sit here. There's my suprasternal notch. How low I want my tank top to go. So let's measure that on me. I want like 7.5 inches. And now that I have these markers, I can draw in my shapes. Honestly, when you're good at drawing, sometimes these rulers just really cramp your style. That feels better. I'm not someone who wears a lot of like deep V, deep scoop, so maybe it just felt really low to me and it's actually not that low, but that's just me. I'm gonna flare this out. There's no math to this. I'm just doing what feels and looks good to me because I'm the one wearing it. So you're basically just doing this according to how you want it to look. And then we're going to square this off. So what I do when I square these off and try to find a curve is I make a right angle here and a right angle here, okay? And then I try to angle it in such a way that it changes direction in the middle, okay? You see that? And then you true this curve so that it's a gradual curve. We have to take this dart out because I'm not going to have an 1.5 inch shoulder strap with a dart in the middle of it. That's absurd. Do you remember when I was fitting the back and I had pinched out this dart back here and then I had pivoted to the shoulder dart, which is a more kind of traditional placement for a dart for a jacket block? Okay, so now we've closed this and put it back out here, and we're gonna work with this opening in the back pattern. Okay, we drop the armhole there. I'm gonna line up this shoulder. Okay, so that's the design coming from the front. This part, I mean, I can just do one of these. I kind of want more of like a racer back situation. Now that I'm looking at it, I think that would be cute. Yeah, I like that. Just want to make sure everything is flowing into each other. This one is curving out just a little bit. Okay, so that's that. That's good. I'm actually just going to fill this in because I only have like, it's fine. It's like this teeny tiny itty bitty little bit. It's like, whatever. Now, while we're here, remember how I shaped my center back because I was getting a little fishtail action? So we're going to go ahead and just do a straight center back because we're doing that A-line thing again. So at this corner, I had added 1.75 inches. So I'm gonna also add 1.75 inches here. You know, every pattern maker has their own style of doing things. And if I had to define my style of pattern making, it would be I am so fastidious about how seams flow, how edges flow front to back. I'm always matching seams to make sure they look good. Like if it's supposed to angle, yeah, if it's supposed to angle, it's supposed to angle. If it's supposed to flow, if it's supposed to be straight across, if it's supposed to be squared off, it's supposed to be perfectly round. Like I'm obsessive about how things flow front to back, side to side. Like that's my thing. So now we have two options because it's gonna sit like this. And the curve is gonna be wackadoo and I'm gonna want to shorten it in the back. I don't wanna shorten at the back. I would rather make it, the other option is to make it wider so that it looks more like that. Yeah, I prefer that. Okay, so again, we've still matched up the armpit as is, okay? And what I've done is I want, again, for the curve to start going up about halfway, somewhere around here. And if I were to mimic this angle, the curve would be here. It would be super weird. I would do this and, you know, do this and then shorten them back. I don't know. Like if anything, I would rather have the back be a hair longer than the front. You know what I mean? To me, it looks just like a more natural flow. So I'm widening so that now where the center back meets, okay, from the front is here. And now my angle is here. Oop. And now I can curve this without shortening the back because I added 5 inches like I did the front. See, and now, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like that. That just looks really funky. Like I want it to just flow smoothly. So I think we need to scoop it out a little more so that it's rounded, okay? So I'm gonna drop it an inch. Sometimes you have to stand on a chair and look at some of this stuff from up high to really see, yeah, that's what I want. Transfer that to the other side. Whenever you're matching seams, it's always sew line to sew line, not seam allowance edges. So my next step is I'm gonna cut a muslin of just the front and back, and I'm gonna check for a couple of things. Number one, can I pull it over my head without a zipper? Number two, do I like the silhouette on my body and the length and everything? And number three, because it's leather, I'm gonna need cut lines, okay? Because like some of these leather skins, this is lamb skin, and some of the skins are really small. And so I'm probably gonna need some cuts, like maybe like about here. So I'm cutting this piece, and there'll be a seam here. You ever just lose some weight, but you keep buying your same old size because that's what you're used to, and you think that's what your body still looks like? And so obviously, a tank is going to fit closer to the body than a jacket. And so I should have reduced the center front, center back, and side seam, but I didn't because I'm so used to my body looking a certain size that I thought the pattern looked completely normal and would fit my body. And I was worried about moving my left arm into the tank top without a zipper. And yeah, so here I am with it pinned up so that it fits better on my body. I closed up the center front, pinched out the side seams a hair, and also pinched out the center back a little bit. But most of the fit came from pinching out a lot of the center front. And now it fits way better than the first. I mean, it's still the same muslin, but this is all pinned up. But you see how this fits better? So yeah, I like this. I want to raise the neckline a hair. When I made this muslin, I took off the seam allowance in the armholes and in the neckline so I could see kind of where the finished edge would look, where it would sit. And I like it. I like that. Um, but yeah, I gotta shrink it all up. This is my finished pattern where I've reshaped the back. I've scooped out more in the back. I've raised the armhole a little bit. I've pinched out a little bit at the side seam. I pinched out a 1/4 inch all the way down the center back. I pinched out a whole inch in the center front on both sides because body dysmorphia is so fun. And then I went ahead and split the tank into cut lines to see how it would look. And then I cut a new muslin. The hem is better because I added an inch to the front, but it's a hair too long because it has hem allowance on it. And I added the seam allowance to the neck and the shoulder, the armhole. But now I kind of like the wider straps. Let me know in the comments what you think. And then I put in some cut lines to see what that would look like. And I am undecided about the cut line placement, but overall, I really like the fit of the tank. Keep in mind that the leather is much heavier than the muslin, so it's going to just kind of drape and hang heavier and not so like stiff, folded, that sort of thing. And I took a Sharpie to the same second muslin and drew in some new cut lines. And I don't like this one either. I think I prefer the high one. And I'm thinking about the high Sharpie line in the back and the original sewn high cut line in the front so that it's kind of all high all around. Let me know your thoughts about the cut line placement in the comments because I'm still undecided about that. Okay, let me know about the wider shoulder strap and the cut line placement. In the next video, I'm going to quickly draft a lining and then we're going to cut and sew the leather tank because I like the fit. Let's go. Please give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Share, subscribe, all the ways you show me love, and I will see you in the next video.